Okay, so I'm going to read you, pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Library Board of Trustees will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with the right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the town's website. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to listen or watch the meeting may do so by visiting shrewsburymediaconnection.org. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the town's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. It says to participate in a scheduled public hearing, and then people can click the Zoom link. Okay, so that said, I'm going to call to order the Board of Library Trustees May 26, 2020 meeting. And our first order of business is to review and to act on the minutes of the April 28th meeting, which you probably all received. I see from the emails that everybody did find on Google Docs. Mm-hmm. Any corrections?
Motion to approve, Nancy.
Second, Jones.
Okay, now I have to take a roll call, so I'll do the roll call here. And you have to tell me yes or no. Jeff?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Dean? Okay. Hand signals work. And me, I also will be. So it passes unanimously. Thank you, Lisa, once again for the great job you do with the minutes. All right, next we have the Director's Report of Activities in April 2020 that we received. And once again, it's been a busy month, even though it's not the usual kind of month. It's a lot of virtual meetings. Did you want to expand on that at all, Priya?
Yes, lots of virtual meetings, as you mentioned. We have meetings with the department heads in the town. There's a task force led by the assistant town manager, and I'm part of that. That's the reopening task force for reopening of public buildings. And there's also a new group led by the assistant town manager. And we discuss specifically about the reopening of the library and the other public buildings. So I'll talk about that later. So yes, we do have a lot of meetings, and then internal meetings with staff, weekly staff meetings, weekly managers meetings, and smaller groups that we meet, the adult services team, etc. So yes, we do have, I do attend a lot of meetings.
I wanted to ask, how was the stress management meeting?
Oh, that was excellent. So the town manager had initiated this even before the pandemic. They had hired this person, John Wertman, who specializes in coaching people. So he had offered the stress management workshops even before, and now it's, I think, even more important and useful. And it's great that the town offers it for all staff members, all town employees. So it's really good.
When I read that, I thought, oh boy, I bet that was a valuable meeting.
Yes, yes. Yeah, and again, it is on Google Meet, but he does such an excellent job connecting with people that it's really useful.
Great.
And did followed up on that, the Mindfulness Workshop, was that a program for the public or for managers?
That was, I had organized that. This was a person who had come before to the library. Her name is Joanne Graham, and she had done a mindfulness workshop for the public. So I invited her to do one for the staff. So we had it. It was optional for the staff to attend. And that was very good too.
Okay, and you had a lot of virtual programs, and we all know that YouTube channel is kind of taking off.
Yes. Yeah. I think there's another line item where we say programs during the month, programs and services offered, so I can elaborate during that one.
Okay.
I move that we accept the director's report.
Do I have a
Second.
second?
I second.
Okay, I'm going to go through the roll call again. Jeff?
Yes.
Anne Marie?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Debbie?
Yes.
Joan?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Kevin?
Yes.
Dean? And I agree also. You'll have to write out signs, Dean, if you want to tell us anything else. You can't figure out what's wrong with your computer. Okay, so that passes unanimously. All righty. Next is financial and legislative. And we have the year-to-date report. I imagine budgets are just a mess right now. Nobody planned for this.
Actually, the town manager had asked department heads to provide a monthly budget projection starting in July, which he will then present to the Board of Selectmen for their approval. So I just submitted that spending estimates for July. So we're now going to be projecting month by month.
So this is really kind of interesting because town meeting is going to be June 16th is the election. And usually the big deal at town meeting is the annual budget. So what are they doing?
Yeah,
they're just going to go without the annual budget and just try to project, and for how long?
I think the town manager said that under provisions of Chapter 52 of the Acts of 2020 allows the Board of Selectmen to request the Department of Revenue approve a month-by-month budget.
Okay.
So
budget doesn't even mean a whole lot right now, unfortunately. Yeah. So everybody have a chance to look at that? It looked like you were in good shape. I'm going to ask something right now that comes up later on. I noticed that you were asking for $4,000 for mailing during the summer. I wondered if there was some money left in the existing lines that you could use for that $4,000 before we put trust funds.
Definitely, we can use part of it under our print stationery line item. We do have a balance left over in that, and we are planning to mail a postcard again to all residents in Shrewsbury, like the one we did in April, highlighting some of our resources. So I was wondering if we could send out a regular newsletter in the end of
so that would be
the end of May, in June.
Okay.
Yes, okay. Like our quarterly newsletter, promoting our summer reading program. So we are planning a whole bunch of activities virtually for children, teens, and adults. And I was wondering if we could mail a newsletter. And that's why I had requested that funding. Usually every year, I think the trustees award $1,500 as prizes for the summer reading programs for children, teens, and adults.
We do.
I think the trust funds, you do, right?
And we use trust funds.
I'm a little worried about, we'll get to that later with trust funds, because I'm not sure what's happened with the market and where we are standing, because there was a time when we were overspending the trust funds, and the trustees as a group decided we weren't going to spend any more than had been gained in the year.
Okay.
Because we had been depleting the trusts, and that's why, there is money in state aid. So,
Sure.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. I think it's state aid we used.
Okay, rather than trust funds, because there was a time that it was before I came on that people said that we were spending trust funds.
It's state aid, not trust funds.
Okay.
So
yeah.
When we get there, but you do have some money already in unexpended supplies that you could use for that, and then maybe we could make up the difference with state aid.
Absolutely.
Right.
We could do that.
Do you want to consider approaching the Friends instead of using other funds? I mean, Friends really haven't been sponsoring a whole lot of programs of late, and
We are planning a number of virtual programs for the summer.
okay.
And the Friends will be, I'll be requesting the Friends. I think
At the
it's
next
because we
meeting.
didn't have a meeting in May, so we'll be having a meeting in
Okay.
June, and I'll be requesting funding then.
Okay.
They are also a little concerned because they've not had the annual book sale and the ongoing book sale at the library, so they are concerned about their revenue too.
I think with the amount of 4,000, we can make it happen somehow or other after we try to figure all this out.
Sure. Yes.
Everybody in agreement with me there?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we'll end up with 2 or 3 contributors.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay, so can I get, do we need to approve the financial report? I'm never really sure.
I don't think we
I don't
approved.
think so. It's just informative, right?
Right.
Right.
Okay. And then we're going to, next year, we'll have a treasurer and a finance committee, and they'll be leading the way for us. Okay. Programs and services. So your report, Priya, on all the things that have been happening.
Okay, so I just want to remind our viewers again that you can contact us via phone or email. The email is splreference@cwmars.org, and our phone number is 508-841-8533. Do call us if you have any questions about our e-resources, or if you wish to get a library card, and a librarian will be happy to help you with any of these questions.
Can I just ask a practical question about how you're distributing this among the staff? It's like an assigned staff member to each day and that kind of thing?
Yes. Each day one staff member is doing virtual reference. So they check the phone once an hour because it's not that busy, and they check the email periodically. There's also a circulation email for library cards. So if somebody applies for a new library card, they refer them to this other emails, splcirc@cwmars.org, and 2 other staff members check that. So they issue the new library cards to patrons.
Have you had a lot of requests for library cards?
Yes, I think I do have the number actually, 20, in April, we had requests for 20 new library cards, and 23 cards were updated. People's cards had expired, and they had asked for them to be renewed. So about 40 cards, which means people are downloading e-resources and accessing that. And about 35 email responses and 55 phone calls during the month of April. So it is.
So Priya, for new library cards, are they actually mailed to the?
No, we ask them for the information, the address and phone number and contact information, and we give them the number, the library card number, and we call it a temporary library card, valid for 3 months, and we'll renew it. That was the plan initially, that we would renew it when the library was open.
Are they going to have to come in and get the physical card when it's all over?
When it's all over. But if we think it's likely that it's going to be longer than 3 months, then we will just update the cards and allow people to use them. It would be like the e-card that you get from the Boston Public Library. It's valid for a year, and then you can renew it. So it might be something like that. Initially, we had thought 3 months would be sufficient. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
So regarding the programs, we've been offering a virtual book club, a virtual cookbook club, a book club for millennials called Reading Glasses that had been meeting in a restaurant before. Now they're meeting virtually. And then there's virtual yoga sessions. And for children, There's Facebook Live, where our children's librarian does the Babies, Books, and Bubbles program. And then there are pre-recorded videos of story times. There's DIY craft demonstrations that have been done. And so we engage people with regular posts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Do we have any way to know how many people are using? I don't know much about Facebook Live, for example.
Facebook Live, I think you have to, I'm sure you can get the stats for everything. The number of new followers
Facebook's
of a
having
page.
they want to mine our data, but
Yes, we can get all the stats. Live is a little tricky, but if it is a recorded video, then you know how many people have viewed it. Yes. We definitely have more followers now on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Yes.
One thing I noticed was you were having the community send in pandemic pictures.
Yes.
Now, I had two questions on that. Are you getting many submissions? And second, do we have to get a written approval or anything for them to be put onto Flickr?
We have, I think in the form it says that you give your permission.
Oh, it does.
To
Okay.
use it, yes, use it on social media. So we are storing it on Flickr. We've received about 15 submissions so far.
Oh.
People wearing masks, people doing Zoom conferences, going for walks, and haircuts at home and things like that. Yes. I did want to talk a little about the summer reading program, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, please.
What we've planned for children, teens, and adults. So this year, the summer reading theme is Imagine Your Story. That's the theme picked by the state, and I think it's very appropriate because we've all got to do a lot of imagining. So we're planning virtual programs for kids, teens, and adults. The summer reading program will start on June 29th and end on August 21st. And we have a lot of fun stuff planned with prizes and raffles to be won. For children ages 5 through 12 and their families, they will be going on a quest. So that is the theme that the children's librarians have planned. Children will start this imaginary quest by first creating their imaginary character. And each child-created character is whisked away and transported to 8 different magical worlds, all a different story genre ranging from sci-fi to fairy tale. And each week, the library will supply kids with different challenges in order to escape these realms and eventually make it back to their home world. And weekly challenges will include STEM activities, crafts, reading tasks, scavenger hunts, and this will be an immersive, engaging, fun program for children. Kids can pick and choose what they would like to do. So they're gearing towards having kids use their imagination and do less of the electronic stuff that they have been doing all along. I mean, the parents would still have to submit this and receive communication from the children's librarians, but that's the outline of the plan. It still has to be crystallized and refined. And for teens, we are going to post a Google form on Facebook, and students in grades 7 through 12 will be asked to write reviews of books or audiobooks, and the reviews will be shared on the Teens and Tweens page of the library website, and anyone who submits a review can enter to win a small weekly prize. I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you earlier, but our young adult librarian is on maternity leave now. She's had a baby. She's had a baby girl. And so, you know, the other youth services librarians are all putting this together for teens. We've also been communicating with the assistant superintendent, Amy Clouter, and Jane Lizotte, the school liaison for the community. And we're trying to come up with ways in which we can communicate to families what we're doing. So it'll be a joint effort, a collaborative effort between the schools and the library. to reach families of kids and teens. And for adults, we're planning something like an extended Comic-Con. We usually do a Comic-Con in July. And it's going to be virtual. And all ages can participate in it. There might be a comic contest. Children and their parents would write to their favorite superhero by mailing a letter to the library, and then staff will respond to them via snail mail. There's going to be a virtual trivia contest, a costume contest where patrons can send in photos of their costumes for the Shrewsbury Public Library 2020 Comic-Con. So lot of ideas, a lot of brainstorming going around, and the librarians are planning this program. I mean, we had to really switch gears. We had hoped to offer a fun summer reading program at the library like we usually do, but we're doing our best trying to plan a virtual one.
Something tells me you're going to get the younger adults. When you mentioned all that stuff, I was kind of scratching my head. One question on the, the kids. It's like the school system every year used to have, required books over the summer and stuff, and the library really kind of pitched in to help make that happen. Has the school department decided not to do required summer reading?
Actually, last year itself, the middle school and high school did not have the lists like they used to have before. Only the elementary school had provided us the lists. And this year also, they've given us an updated list, and we are making sure the books are available as ebooks. We had already purchased them, and we will be purchasing the print copies also. For the middle school and high school, last year itself, the schools had come up with exploratory essay kind of thing with different themes that they had provided. So they hadn't asked kids to read, a prescribed set of books, but they had offered them different themes, and based on that, they would have to read and write an essay. So it was more of an experience. That's what they called it. And we had, of course, the library had provided titles and suggestions for reading about those themes, but it wasn't a list of books. So again, we are collaborating with the schools, and we will see how best we can enhance the summer learning experience of children and teens. I had sent all of you the story written by Amanda about the library story, and I had actually shared it with Amy Clouter too, and the high school media specialist, Emily, I don't recall her last name, and we are discussing, if there is a possibility of using that story as a conversation starter or something, and encouraging kids to write essays, maybe something simpler about the library or their favorite books or something like that, incorporating something like that. So.
That's good. Huh?
Yeah,
Well,
at the next meeting, I'll probably have more details.
Yeah, you'll be keeping busy nonetheless.
Yes,
As
definitely.
we can through this. Okay. The timing is kind of scary. It's like, oh, when will this be done? Okay, any other questions for Priya? Okay, so our next item is facilities, equipment, and grounds. And you had here, before you get started, I was wondering, we had talked about that, the quiet room and the physical changes that needed to take place. Is that happening now during this shutdown?
Actually, I just heard from Keith Baldinger that they are coming in this Friday.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Will they be done in a day? Is it that quick?
I'm not sure, but he had given a day and time. So I'm not sure how much will be done. We'll see.
Great. So you wanted to tell us about the reopening of the library, phase 1.
Okay. So for the library, phase 1 will be when library staff are back in the building. And the plan is for library staff to go back in two teams, Team A and Team B, on alternate weeks. And I'm discussing the plan with the assistant town manager and the public buildings manager, the deputy fire chief. So this is a team that they have put together just to discuss the phase one of the reopening of the library. And of course, we also have discussions about reopening of all the public buildings, and again, phase one. So phase one is just the staff that will be going back in two teams. And we are ensuring that we will meet all the state guidelines set by the governor, follow all the mandatory safety standards for workplaces, and we have to give a compliance report based on the governor's guidelines, which is, I think, 25% of the workforce can be in the building at one time, and a lot of other things there. All employees will be trained regarding social distancing and hygiene protocols, and all town departments will be at 25% capacity or less at any time. And
can I ask a question here? Because
Yes.
the library is unique in that there's a lot of more part-time people than there are full-time. So how are they interpreting the number of people who are employees there?
Right now, we have 24 employees, full-time and part-time, that have been working the last 2 months since the library since the physical building was closed. And we are only considering these staff members, and then gradually we'll bring back our pages and the Sunday staff. Of course, Sunday season is over, so that we have to consider only in the fall. So it will still be a smaller group, and maybe staggered schedules, because we can't have all of the staff in the building at the same time.
So when they say 25%, they mean 6 people? Because we're basing it on 24?
No, for the library, because the facility is bigger, they have they have said that it would be okay if 12 of us are in the building at one time. And again, this is just phase one. So then gradually, I hope it'll be safe for all the staff to be there. And then we have to consider services that we will be offering to the public. One of them is curbside pickup of materials, and the other is accepting returns of materials. So, but it is going to be a very, very gradual plan that we have to follow. Right now, we don't even have a date for staff going back. It's just a tentative plan. We haven't finalized the dates as yet. And everyone just has to be patient while we figure this out, have the building ready for the staff first, and then plan out the details for the next phase.
Priya, what is your understanding as to when staff, what are the criteria that needs to be met for staff to begin to actually enter the building?
It's just as I mentioned, the training regarding social distancing and hygiene protocols, and reiteration of the rules that we all have to follow, washing our hands, sanitizing our work areas, etc., and being very, very careful about not mixing the staff. If you are in Team A, you just go that week, and Team B goes the other week.
So that shouldn't take too long, really. That's something that we've been practicing right along.
Right. We've had just one meeting with the assistant town manager and the committee that's been created to discuss specifically the reopening of the library. I'm hoping there'll be another meeting this week, and we'll be able to finalize and give a date at that point. I'll keep you all updated on that. And of course, we'll communicate, on the website. We'll inform the public what we're doing. It'll be on the website. we'll send out our email blasts that we've been sending every week. So the information will be out there once we are ready.
What are other communities doing in terms of their timetable?
I was supposed to have a meeting tomorrow, actually, with the Westboro, Northboro, Southboro, Auburn, Grafton library directors. And we are all discussing the same thing about a timeline when it would be safe. And right now, everyone is not yet in phase 1 where the staff is going back. So tentatively planning June 1st, but nobody's started anything yet. And this is true of most libraries in Massachusetts, again, because we have discussions with other libraries in CWMARS, and we follow guidelines from the Massachusetts Library System and the Massachusetts Board of Library Commissioners. So,
And do they have guidelines for when books and other things are returned, what you have to do with it? I mean, is there a period of time before it can go back on a shelf?
There are different opinions right now from experts on how long the materials have to be quarantined. It ranges from 24 hours to 48 hours. So again, we are discussing all of that, and we have to take into account how much of the materials we can accept at one time because of the need to quarantine the materials. So it might all be, how many hours we allow patrons to return at every day.
The CDC revised their guidelines on, these particles on surfaces because it really isn't the threat people think it is. It's, unless somebody who's asymptomatic, has a high viral load and sneezes on a book, it's probably not such a big deal. And when you say it lasts 3 days, well, you might start with 100,000 virus particles, but at the end of day 1, you probably are down to 50 or 20. And then, it's like, I always tell people that you got to do the math on this. So I don't really feel like there's going to be a big, health threat to the staff that have to deal with it. But probably putting books aside for a little while, not a bad idea.
Yeah, we might have to wheel them and leave them in a meeting room, probably.
Let them sit for a little bit,
Yes, and then shelve them.
Priya, when the staff come back, is it going to be reduced hours for them, or is it going to be the same library?
It might be reduced hours initially, and they will continue with doing the virtual programs and services because we can't stop that. As I said, we're planning the summer reading program virtually. So the staff will be busy doing things, but they may not be there for 8 hours.
Yeah.
That'll
be a long time.
And the library may not be open from 9 to 9. It might be 9 to 5 initially. Yeah, it's a lot of things to finalize.
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you have to follow guidelines for the town too, like with town hall or
Absolutely.
senior center or whatever?
Yes, absolutely. We have to follow guidelines from the town hall. That is what we had been discussing, that this is going to be phase 1. At least in the town hall, there are employees who go into the town. They are following the Team A and Team B schedule. But the library, we hadn't even started that. So once they give us the clear sign, we will start with the staff going back in different teams.
And in the meantime, is there a cleaning crew that's been into the library that will do some kind of cleaning before you start having this staff, or because they've always been coming in, it's been done as they're there?
No, they are coming in. There is one custodian assigned to the library for 1 week and another custodian. They also follow the Team A, Team B schedule. So they are cleaning, but they probably will do a deep cleaning before they allow the staff to come back. And then between, every weekend, after one team has worked for a week, before the next group comes in the following week.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, well, good luck with phase one. We'll look
Thank
forward
you.
to phase two, whenever that's going to be, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any other questions on the phase one? Okay, so next we have gifts and grants, and apparently people have donated $2,585 to the library for Ellen, in honor of Ellen.
Great.
Yes, so she had requested in honor of her retirement that in lieu of gifts that they donate to the foundation. So, but again,
So that's to the foundation, so that's not into the library gift account.
No, that was to the foundation. She had requested that the funds go to the foundation. Yes.
Well, that's nice. That's good.
Yes.
Any next item is personnel, and I know you have an active search going on for the technical services librarian, right?
Right. So we've done our first round of interviews, and we have 2 finalists that we will be interviewing this week, tomorrow and day after. And unfortunately, we cannot invite them to the library and show them around, so it has to be another virtual interview. And hopefully we'll be able to hire a person as soon as possible.
Well, that's really tough without the in-person interview.
Oh, I know.
It is, yes.
Are you happy with the candidates?
We are very happy with the candidates.
And are you familiar with them? Or Mike familiar with them? I know
One
there's
of
a
them,
librarian community, so.
right. One of them we are familiar with because we met in conferences and other things. And I'll definitely be calling their references and talking to them.
Do it by telephone, not written. And when do you anticipate making that hire?
So the interviews are this week, and I think as soon as they are able to join, I would like to have someone on board by June 15th, if possible.
Mm-hmm. Well, given that everything's online these days, it seems like a really important position.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Priya, has Mike been sort of doing double duty?
All of us have been doing
Yes,
double duty,
right.
yes. Yeah, and of course he has, but because we are not in the building, there aren't as many computer
Right.
issues
Right.
or network issues to take care of. So
Okay.
it's been manageable.
Mm-hmm. Good. One small silver lining.
Yeah.
Anything else about personnel that we need to hear about?
No, just that Annie Lee had a baby. I mentioned
Yes.
that earlier.
And so when is Sonia due?
August.
Oh gosh,
August.
we're not going to need those bibliotemp people we thought we were going to need.
I
I
know.
was just going to
Yes.
ask that. Yeah.
Yeah, I did talk to the town manager though and asked if I could assign a few extra hours to our part-time staff who have less than 19 hours right now, and he agreed to that. So
Oh, good, good.
I'll be doing that.
That's good.
Hey, so our next item is the Schuster Public Library Foundation.
Okay, so the balance amount in the foundation funds is $168,568.23. And we had our foundation board meeting earlier this month, and we've scheduled another one for June.
Right.
That's right. And just a comment about that. Of course, Ellen had designated that the foundation receive any contributions in Ellen's honor. So those have gone into the coffers. The foundation has authorized transference of the funds that we have, which have been sitting in a bank account doing absolutely nothing, making no money. So those are being moved into Vanguard, which is an investment group. So that's going to be done in 3 stages over the course of the next 12 months. just want to remind our board that right now those state aid funds are sitting in town accounts making almost no money at all. I would ask the board to consider moving some of those state aid monies into the foundation account so that those monies can start earning money.
Because you have like a target you want to get to, right? Like 500,000?
Yeah, we're trying to get a $500,000 balance in the foundation. That's our goal. So we are, we're beginning a campaign, if you want to call it that, to identify some major givers, and I'm talking about people, mainly institutions, corporations, and other foundations who contributed large sums of money to the building campaign. So we're in the we're starting to contact those institutions, if you want to call them that, to see if they would be willing to contribute again, this time to build the foundation. And we'll also be, as time goes on and circumstances allow, we'll be contacting previous givers to the building campaign, to sort of network with people who might be willing to contribute some substantial funds. But the state aid funds would greatly enhance the balances to the foundation, and therefore when we're approaching these individuals and institutions, we can say we already have raised X number of dollars. So I want to put that out to this board, that we might consider moving some of that state aid fund into the foundation, not because it blocks our ability to access it, because we can put a stipulation that should the trustees decide that we actually need to tap into what has been given to the foundation, that could be done, so that we could withdraw investments to the accounts. So I just want to remind the board that that might be a wise thing to do in terms of more return on our dollar, if you will, and it could be with with a stipulation that, oh gosh, we decided that we really are going to need some of that money back, that the foundation would be willing to withdraw that, give it back to the trustees, should that money be needed. So, I mean, right now we still have a very hefty balance in that state aid account.
I think we're over 300,000 actually.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
And it rightfully so. The town could say, you guys have a lot of money here.
Yeah.
Whereas if it's in the foundation, it's not in a town account. So, food for thought.
We talked about this a little bit at last meeting, and
Yes.
Also at the last meeting we voted in for the finance subcommittee. And I think it would be prudent to have whomever's going to be on that subcommittee first really look at the layers of finance and make decisions after those discussions. But certainly I'm in favor of that consideration.
And I like the idea that it would be with a stipulation that if we needed it, it could come back.
Right.
And I certainly think if we can give you if a substantial amount can be given, it certainly would help fundraising.
Exactly.
I think unfortunately we're at the times we're at right now. It's almost reluctant to move money without knowing what the needs are going to be. And
Right.
sounds like the whole town is hurting because their revenues are so far down.
Mhm. Might I propose that we revisit this perhaps in the fall?
Oh, sure.
When
I
we
think
have a kind of a better handle on where we are with our budget, and that we might take a look again.
When are you planning to move to Vanguard? Has the
Right now.
Okay.
Now. Yep.
So you're moving part of it or all
We're
of it?
moving a third of what the foundation has, which Priya, I can't remember. It's like
168,000. Yeah.
Okay. So we're going to move a third of it right now.
Okay.
And then another third in 3 months, and then another third 3 months later. So so we're gearing up to earn more money than just sitting in a bank account earning virtually nothing.
Right. We should probably plan on putting this on our September agenda. We'll have one more meeting for this year, but
right.
Hopefully by September there'll be more certainty about where we stand.
Exactly.
I
Let's
think
do
that's
that.
a
That would be
good
great. Thank you.
Anything else on the foundation? Or thank you, Nancy. That was very interesting. Friends of the Library.
We did not have a meeting in May, so the next Friends Board meeting is going to be on June 3rd. And again, we're going to be discussing, what we can do for revenue if there is no book sale. Initially, we had thought we'd schedule it for late summer, but it doesn't look like we'd have any kind of big gatherings in the library. So that's out of the question. And but they
Friends are going to get a lot more contributions to their book sale because everybody's reading.
Right.
We're not accepting any more donations, though, right?
No, they're not.
No, we can't take anything in right now, so we can't do that.
I don't think there's even any storage space for any more books.
Yes, I'm sure there isn't. So at the board meeting, we'll discuss funding of the summer reading program, funding of virtual programs. We had started that discussion last time, but now I have more ideas for actual programs. So we'll discuss that at the next meeting.
Okay. Policies.
Nothing. No new policies this time to update.
Wow.
No more roll calls. Okay. We're ready to talk miscellaneous. So you had the thing about the summer reading program. We have actually kind of talked about that already.
Okay.
Any other issues people have?
I don't think so.
Well, I want to bring up something that I think is very important. This is Kevin McKenna's last meeting with us as a library trustee.
Kevin.
And because we have the elections now have been scheduled for June 16th. And so at our next meeting, we will have a new trustee. And Kevin, we have to thank you for all you've done. How many years?
I have no idea. I think we have to go back in records and see when I started.
But it's over 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
We owe you a debt.
Absolutely. Thank you so much,
Thank
Kevin.
you. Thank you.
You've been such an asset. And might I just point out also that Kevin headed up the search committee for our new director. He did a great job. We had a wonderful committee. And so I applaud you, Kevin, for your work on that particular thing.
And I think he headed up Ellen's
predecessor.
Yes,
He also chaired
Yeah.
the committee that when we hired Ellen. And those two experiences I think I'm most proud of in my period on the board. So we have two wonderful directors that came out of those processes.
And Kevin, when you came on the board, was Bonnie the director?
She was.
She was.
Yes.
Mm.
So you've survived 3 directors. How wonderful.
They've survived me. So.
Well, we hope you'll come back and visit us when it's
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
all over.
And we might call on you as a consultant in future. You never know.
Right, right. And I hope we can honor you when we are back in public view.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was not the time to honor you, that's for sure.
Right, right. We don't want to gather in the parking lot yet again. Yeah,
That looked so nice. I was so sorry I had to miss that, but it looked
that
such
was
a
nice.
nice thing.
We were glad we could.
Figured
do
we
that.
had to do it because
Oh, I know. Well,
I
first of
know.
all, you needed to get rid of that chair.
A chair
Yeah.
in Claire's entryway. Yes.
yeah,
Dean was good
it
enough
became
to
almost a
put
piece of
together.
furniture there. It was there for so long, and I thank Dean for putting it all together. And
Yes. Thank you, Dean, for
Thank you.
putting it together and transporting it. So.
yeah. So we'll hope to see
It'll
you
provide
again.
with great memories.
Yeah. So, and thank you, everybody. So that's all I've got for miscellaneous. Anybody, anything else? So our next meeting is going to be June 23rd, 2020, and it'll be after an election, and it's where we're going to reorganize the board, guys. You know, so every year we kind of think about, you know, shuffling, you know, the responsibilities and stuff. And I can say I've been the chair for 2 years. I'd be really happy if somebody else wants to be the chair.
You're doing a good job, Claire.
I see a lot of people who are very capable of being the chair. And it's,
Well, I've had my turn, so I don't have to be chair again.
we'll have, I think, you know, looking at the ballot, I just sent my ballot in today. I hope you're all mailing in your
I
ballot.
requested it.
I think we'll have April Princess, a new candidate. So I suspect she's going to win. She's unopposed.
We're all running unopposed.
Yeah, yeah. So hope everybody votes at any rate. So can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
And I get the roll call. It always wins, but at any rate, Jeff,
Yes.
Anne Marie,
Yes.
Lisa,
Yes.
Debbie,
Yes.
Joan,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Kevin,
Yes.
Dean, and me. And so we'll consider this meeting adjourned and look forward to, I somehow suspect we're going to be virtual next month too.
I was just going to say, what do you think the chances of not being virtual will be?
Very dim.
Yeah.
Slim to nothing, huh?
All right. So bye, everybody.
Bye.
you.
Good to see everyone.
Thank you all.
Thank you again, Kevin.